Quorum is established. Thanks to everybody for being here today. Just a couple of housekeeping rules before we get started. When we call the nominee and the senator forward, you'll come up to the front here. You'll stand behind the desk. Harrison, our photographer, will get a picture of the senator and the nominee. You will give your presentation. We'll answer any questions. And when we're done, the senator will run over to Mark, who's over here, and you'll sign a letter. We're going to start out today with Robert Blitz, Democrat, as a member of the University of Missouri Board of Curators. Senator Koenig. Senator, you can proceed whenever you're ready.
Senator Andrew Koenig from the 15th District, here to present Robert Blitz. He's a Democrat as a member of the for a University of Missouri Board of Curators. He's an attorney, has tremendous success with his profession, with over $1 billion in settlements, and I think he'll do a fantastic job. So I'm happy to answer any questions, or he can too.
Thank you, Senator. Mr. Blitz, thanks for being here today. Any questions for this nominee? Senator Moon.
Good morning, Mr. Blitz. Thank you for meeting with me, I guess a day or so ago. You mentioned a lot of things that I did not record all of them in my mind, but I'd like for you, if you will, just talk about some of the things. And you've been an attorney for 50 years, is that correct?
That's true.
That's a good long time, and lots of success. Would you tell us some of the highlights of that 50-year career, and also what you envision as you serve on the board?
So there were a lot of highlights of that career. I'm not here to brag. First of all, thank all the committee members for being here and your question, Senator Moon. I know you all had a late night last night, and I appreciate you going forward with this hearing. But the biggest successes I've had in practicing law, the best part about practicing law, no matter how big the case, is the clients, the people you represent, the people you have obligations to, and how you fulfill those obligations. Because in 50 years, what you learn is there are so many different ways to help clients, whether they be individuals, businesses, whoever they are. That's the biggest part that I've enjoyed about practicing law. I've certainly, I've had the largest verdicts and settlements in every decade that they've been giving them out. And I mean, number one, I'm both plaintiffs and defendants, and I've received some distinguished awards and Lawyer of the Year and things like that. Those honors are all great, but I worked 50 years as a lawyer because I enjoyed it, and I enjoyed the pursuit of justice for my clients.
Well, I'm grateful that you would be willing to serve on the board. I can only imagine the committee shares those sentiments, and I wish you well as you do so.
Thank you very much, Senator Moon.
Senator Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Bob, congratulations. I don't really have a question for you, just someone I've known for a very long time. I just want to thank you for considering this opportunity. Clearly in my district, I have the University of Missouri St. Louis, and your father was very instrumental in starting that institution. Just knowing your story and where you come from and to be where you are today is just a testament of how hard you work, and I truly believe the system is going to be better because of you. So thank you, and congratulations, and hope that you get through confirmation.
Thank you, Senator Williams, and I hope to make the system better and give positive influence to it.
Further questions for the nominee? Seeing none. Thank you for being here today, Mr. Blitz. Thanks for your willingness to serve.
Thank you.
Next up, we will hear Dr. Jeannie Singfield, a Republican, as a member of the University of Missouri Board of Curators. Senator Ben Brown. Okay. Proceed whenever you're ready, Senator.
For the record, my name is Ben Brown, Senator for the 26th District, and I'd like to thank the committee for the opportunity to present Jeannie Sinkfield for appointment to the University of Missouri Board of Curators. She has an extensive academic background, including a PhD in demography and an MBA in finance and management science from the University of Chicago. She served as an assistant professor for University of Chicago and the University of Indonesia. She's been a great partner of the university for some time, as far back as 2005, serving as chair of the Commission to Review the University of Missouri System back in 2016, and is currently a member of the Missouri 100 as well. I'm sure that she would be happy to go more into her extensive background and answer any questions that you might have.
Thank you, Senator Brown. Dr. Sinkfield, thanks for being here today. Questions for this nominee? Senator Moon.
Dr. Sinkfield, we had the pleasure of meeting just a matter of an hour or so ago, and I was really impressed at all the things that you've been involved in, from inventor to musician, and I was equally impressed by your thoughts on your participation on the board. Would you just talk briefly about what your plans are as a member of the board?
Well, a lot of it's going to be a lot of listening, but I would say the major things is to focus on the students so that they graduate and get in a timely way and get an excellent education. The other is to think forward. Universities are going to change. The world is changing. Technology is changing. So there are two classes of students at a university. There's the ones who are undergrads getting, BAs, and then there's people like you who need continuing education. So I think in terms of thinking long term, you have to think about different.
I'm glad you recognize that, by the way.
Well, thinking about, how is requirements? What type of learning do the students need? We've done this in the past, but each year you need to be improving and changing what you've done. Do I have the answers? No, but I do think that there are people, smart people, at the universities and outside the universities that can move our University of Missouri system into where they should be in 5 years. And then year 6, I'll be out, right? Okay.
Further questions for this nominee? You got off fairly easy. Thank you for being here today. Thank you for your willingness to serve. Next up, we will hear Nia Walker as a member of the Lincoln University, Missouri, Lincoln University Board of Curators, Senator Cierpiot.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Before I start, I just want to say awesome jacket. For the record, I'm Mike Cierpiot from the 8th Senate District. I want to introduce Nia Walker to the Gubernatorial Committee. Nia has been chosen to serve on the Lincoln Board of Curators. She currently serves as an academic tutor for Lincoln University, specializing in the areas of American government and ethics. She is a political science major, and her professional goals include law and politics. She's very excited about this position. I think she's going to do a wonderful job.
Awesome. Thank you, Senator. Ms. Walker, good to be here. Good to have you with us today. Questions for this nominee? Senator Moon left, so you're good. No questions appearing. Thanks for being here today. Thanks for your willingness to serve.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Next up, we'll hear Gary Larson, Republican, as the presiding commissioner of Dent County, Senator Justin Brown.
Hold on a second, everybody back there. Let these guys filter out here. 25 people back there. And one last minute straggler. Okay.
Senator, you can proceed whenever you're ready.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, for allowing us to be here today. For the record, I'm Senator Justin Brown representing the 16th District, and I am here to present Gary Larson for the current presiding commissioner seat in Dent County. Gary has served 4 terms now? 4 terms as an associate commissioner in Dent County. So basically, we had the former presiding commissioner resigned a couple months ago, and the governor has decided to pick Gary as the nominee to be presiding commissioner at Dent County. And with that, I will entertain any questions.
Thank you, Senator. Thank you, Mr. Larson, for being here. Questions for this nominee? Seeing none. Thanks for being here. Thanks for your willingness to serve.
Thank you.
Next up, we will hear Clayton Eftink as a member of the Southeast Missouri State University Board of Governors, Senator Thompson Rehder.
Hold on just a second. Let's let these, we'll get through here.
There's more behind you.
There's more leaving. We're not going to get you photobombed.
There you go.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. It is my honor to nominate Clayton Eftink to serve as student representative to the Southeast Missouri State University's Board of Governors. His experience and dedication to our university has sufficiently prepared him to fulfill the duties of this position. As a student at Southeast Missouri State University, Clayton plans on graduating May of '24 with a Bachelor of Science in both Finance and Business Administration. Clayton is an active member of the campus. He currently serves as a presidential ambassador and competes as a member of the track and field team for SEMO. Clayton possesses not only the involvement, dedication, and knowledge to serve this board, but he has already invested himself into the campus and student life. I believe he will be an incredible addition to our Board of Governors, and I'm proud to put my full support behind his nomination.
Thank you, Senator. Thanks for being here today. Questions for this nominee? Seeing none. Thanks again for being here. Thanks for your willingness to serve. Next up, we will hear Tom Whittaker, as a member of the Kansas City Board of Police Commissioners, Senator Razer.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. For the record, Senator Greg Razer from the 7th District, here to present Mr. Tom Whittaker for the Kansas City Board of Police Commissioners. I will make this short. Mr. Whittaker is the Executive Vice President and Chief Legal Officer for J.E. Dunn Construction. He has been with the organization for 29 years now, has a law degree from the University of Missouri, Kansas City. Some of his current and past civic affiliations: he was on the board of directors, and past co-chair of the Labor Management Council of Greater Kansas City, past board president of the Kansas City Ballet, Associated General Contractors of Kansas City Board of Directors, and past president. This list goes on and on and on. I do want to point out, though, the board director of the Kansas City Metropolitan Crime Commission and the National World War I Museum and Memorial, as a member of the Board of Trustees and currently the vice chair. And one, well, we'll end with that.
Thank you, Senator. Questions for this nominee, Senator Luetkemeyer.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Tom, thank you for your willingness to serve. I was very excited and pleased to see that the governor picked you. We need to have good people on that board. It's a very important board, very important commission just for public safety in Kansas City. And really more than anything, you're eminently qualified to do this. Can you just talk about a little bit about what your vision would be for the police department if there were one or two things that you would like to see the department improve upon, do differently? I didn't know if you had any thoughts on that.
I do have thoughts on that, and I appreciate your comments, Senator Luetkemeyer, and appreciate being here. First and foremost, that my civic involvement comes with wanting to be a participant in the community. We all talk about wanting to have good communities, but they don't just happen, so we have to be participants and actively get involved. So this is one way that I can stay involved in the community. The second thing that I would consider is just good governance. Not that there hasn't been, but it is such an important element of Kansas City, and to have a safe community. Making sure there's good governance there with a good strategy in place and allowing the department to function in its most efficient way and as effectively as it can. If I can help in that regard, I will certainly do everything I can.
Further questions for the nominee? Seeing none. Thank you for being here today. Next up, we will hear Bradley Cooper as a member of the Missouri State University Board of Governors, Senator Trent.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. For the record, Trent, representing Senate District 20. Very pleased to be here to present Mr. Bradley Cooper and his nomination as the student representative to the Missouri State University Board of Governors to the committee. Mr. Cooper is someone that I have known personally for many years. He is of tremendous energy and intelligence. He has had a supreme amount of civic involvement in our community, and I think is an outstanding choice for this position. He will do an amazing job.
Thank you, Senator. Questions for Mr. Cooper? Senator Eftink.
Just briefly, I was just kind of curious, and I know we've had some other students that are going to be representing on the various boards. Curious share with us a little bit about the importance of having the student voice at the board and engaged there. What's the value add there, you think?
Senator, thank you for your question, and thank you to the committee for meeting today. Missouri State has always, for the last several years, taken a high priority of making sure there is a student voice on campus, not in just this position, but around campus. I view my opportunity in this role to keep my finger on the thumb on the pulse of the student body. Where they're going towards issues, the board obviously just passed a fee increase, and that was liked by the student body. They understood that, which I think is unique for a university to pass a fee increase and have support of the student body for that fee increase. I think that's just one prime example of how Missouri State listens and responds to the student voice, and in return, it benefits the university greatly. So I'd want to continue down that path and just learn and listen as much as I can from the university's perspective to be able to communicate that with the student body.
Thank you.
Great. Further questions? Seeing none. Thanks for being here today. Thanks for your willingness to serve. Next up, we will hear Elizabeth Motazedi. Hope I said that right, or close. As a member of the Northwest Missouri State University Board of Regents, Senator Carter.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. For the record, Jill Carter representing the 32nd District. I'm happy to be here today to sponsor Elizabeth Motazedi. So I've had to ask a couple of times. So privileged to have her here and sponsor her appointment as a student representative to the Northwest Missouri State University Board of Regents. Elizabeth does not reside in my district, but her long list of skills and a brief look at her resume will tell you that she's more than a deserving student. She is a majoring in history and humanities education, has a 3.8 GPA, and is an academic and presidential honor roll student. As a part of the Student Senate, she is the Student Body Executive President. I would appreciate your support for Elizabeth and to the Northwest Missouri State University Board of Regents. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Good to have you here today. Questions for Ms. Motazedi? Boom. Senator Williams.
How about you pronounce your last name for us so we have it right on the record?
Motazedi.
It's Motazedi.
Motazedi.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Further real questions? Seeing none. Thanks for being here today. Next up, we will hear Garrett Jackson as a member of the Missouri Western State University Board of Governors. Senator Luetkemeyer.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. For the record, Tony Luetkemeyer, representing the 34th Senatorial District. It is my honor today to present Garrett Jackson, who the governor has nominated as the student representative to the Missouri Western State University Board of Governors. Garrett is currently working on his bachelor's degree in construction engineering technology at Missouri Western. He also works as the quality control intern at Midland Steel Company. Garrett achieved the honor of Eagle Scout from the Boy Scouts of America and was even named the Eagle Scout of the Year in his district. Garrett is a terrific young man with a promising future. I know he will do a great job representing his fellow students on the Board of Governors, and I would ask the committee to support his nomination. We'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Senator. Questions for Mr. Jackson? Seeing none. Oh, Senator Brown.
What did you do for your Eagle Scout project, just out of curiosity?
I built a rolling ticket booth for my school. So the need was for the individuals taking money for tickets for football games and baseball games. In poor weather, they had to take money in those conditions, and so I saw the need and built a rolling ticket booth. So they had a shelter with windows, and it was protecting them from the wind so they can roll it from the football field to the baseball field.
Well, that's terrific. I did a little Boy Scouts myself, never quite made it the level you did, so congratulations on that, and congratulations on this, and wish you much success.
Thank you.
Awesome. Further questions for Mr. Jackson? Seeing none. Thanks for being here today. Next up, we will hear Ella Schnake? Schnock? My God. It's just bad. It's bad. I should have gotten... Perfect.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. For the record, Senator Rick Brattin, 31st Senatorial District, bringing forth Ella Schnake. Yes, this must be a difficult day for last names, but that's how we pronounce it. I had to go over it about 10 times before I got it right as well. She has a tremendous record for being such a lovely young lady. She's a John Kirk Presidential Scholar. She's a junior for political science, international relations, and sociology double major at Truman State University. She's also working towards a minor in French. On campus, she's the sorority president for one of the largest social sororities, Delta Zeta. I found this extremely interesting that she's won 16 state championships in the last 2 years competing at Missouri Association of Forensic Activities tournaments. She's won 2 national championships in impromptu speaking and other interviewing sort of engagements with Pi Kappa Delta National Tournament. She's from Raymore in my district. She's outstanding and will do a great job on this board. So happy to introduce her and turn this over to her.
Awesome. Thank you, Senator. Good to have you with us today. Questions for this nominee? Seeing none. Thanks for being here today. Lastly, we will hear Kelvin Balcom, maybe, as a Democrat, as a member of the State Board of Embalmers and Funeral Directors, Senator Mosley.
Something's up.
Good afternoon, Chairman and Committee. I'm Senator Angela Walton Mosley of the District 13, and I am proud to introduce to you Mr. Kelvin O. Baucom. Mr. Baucom comes to you for the nomination to the State Board of Embalmers and Funeral Directors. Mr. Baucom is a native and lifelong resident, educated in St. Louis, Missouri. Kelvin and his wife, Regina, have been married for 36 years, have 6 children, 11 grandchildren, and 12 great-grandchildren. Mr. Baucom has maintained and owned several successful funeral businesses as president and CEO for the past 10 years. In addition, he served as board member for formerly known Reliance Bank, now Simmons Bank in St. Louis. He attended a mortuary science program in 1979 at St. Louis Community College. He has served as president and vice president of St. Louis Gateway Funeral Directors and Embalmers Association for several years. He is a current member of the National Funeral Directors and Mortician Association Incorporated, as well as a member of the Missouri Funeral Directors and Embalmers Association. He has been a licensed funeral director in the state of Missouri since 1987. Mr. Baucom is a proven business owner and a skilled leader. His ability to oversee budgets and for development progress will bring organizational growth to the State Board of Embalmers and Funeral Directors. I'm proud to bring to you Mr. Baucom, and if you have any questions.
Thank you, Senator Mosley. Questions for Mr. Baucom? Seeing none. Thanks for being here today. Thanks for being patient, wait until the end. That's our last nominee. I make a motion that we go into executive session. Moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye. As opposed to say no. We're in executive session. I make a motion that we roll this entire slate, as well as the nominees we heard today, as well as the nominee, Dr. Fry, I believe, from the UMKC, or the UN Board of Curators. Senator Brattin was the sponsor last week to roll all of those into a slate. Moved and seconded. Discussion on that motion. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Supposed to say no. That slate is before us now. I make a motion that we do pass that slate on to the Senate floor. Moved and seconded. Discussion on that motion. Senator Brattin.
I don't have any discussion on this particular motion, but I just wanted to introduce my wife and my 2 youngest here. That's why they're here. They're not just overachievers wanting to come to a committee hearing, but anyways, just wanted to recognize.
Well, welcome, Brattin family. Part of the Brattin family. Good to have you with us. Further discussion on the adoption of the slate. Seeing none, Chris, call the roll. Aye. By a vote of 9-0, you have voted that slate to the Senate floor. I make a motion to move out of executive session and adjourn. Moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye. Opposed say no. We're adjourned.